This is the Chrome Effect tutorial in SignLab. Today's lesson we're going to want to start off by editing our layers. So double click on layer 1, we'll rename it to copy, click change, and double click on copy and create another layer. We'll title it art, and click add. So with that done now we can edit our palette. So I'm going to double click on champagne gold, and I'm going to create 3 tints, 75%, click add, a 50%, and a 25%, click add, and I'm also going to create a 40% tint of my spot photo black, and click add. And lastly, you'll just want to make sure that copy is your active layer, and you'll know that if it's highlighted in blue. So with that done, we can go ahead and create some text. So I'm going to select my text compose from my text tools flyout, just click anywhere on my screen, and perhaps my text size is a little bit big. So we'll decrease it to 2.5 inches, and we'll type in art. Just hit F7 to zoom back out, and I'll hit enter. Decrease my text size to about 1 3/4 inches. Type in supplies. Click outside. Hit F7 to zoom in on my text, and I'm going to apply it the champagne gold color. So with that done now, I'm going to want to apply an outline. So go to my transform menu and select outline, and I'm going to set it to about 0.6 inch, 0.6 inch, sorry, and I'll apply it the 75% tint that we created. And go ahead and click outside and let the changes take effect. So I'll just zoom in, you can see the outline that's been created here. So with that done now, I'm going to deselect everything and then click on the outline and apply a shadow to it. So go back to my transform menu, select shadow. We're using a block style shadow. I'll just scroll out here and manually position the nub. And that looks pretty good as it is. So click outside and let the changes take effect. So with that done now, hit F7 to zoom back in. And I'm going to want to select the text and go back to my transform menu, select chisel effect. So for my light color, I'm going to use the 25% tint. For my shadow, I will use the regular champagne gold color. And for my bevel, I'm going to use the 50% tint that we created. And my bevel width set to 0.09 inch is okay. So I'll go ahead and click apply. So now that that's done, I'm going to want to explore my storage bin. But before I get to that, I'm going to go down to my 25% tint that I created, and I'm going to isolate that color. So to do that, I'll hold down the Alt key and hit the left mouse button. And you'll notice that I can only select the 25% tint. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to highlight the word art and group that together. And I'm going to do the same thing for supplies. And having done that, I'll select my art text. I'll go to my view menu and select the storage bin. And this has already been created in a previous lesson, so I'm just going to apply this special fill to my text. So to do that, I'll just drag and drop it onto my text, and you'll notice a gradient effect from black to gray. And I'm going to do the same thing for supplies as well. I can close that and turn my color back on. So now I'm going to select my text, group it together, and I'll do the same thing for supplies. And I'm going to apply a nice chrome effect using the storage bin option again. So go back to my storage bin. I'm going to browse for a file, my CAD link folder, to color spot chrome. And again, I'm just going to drag and drop the fill onto my text. And I'm just going to leave supplies as it is for a minute here. So if I wanted to, I could select my art text and edit my gradient effect. So I'd select spot gradient fills, and you can see that I can adjust the height of the horizon and the angle. I'm just going to leave everything set to the way it was, and I'll let you explore that on your own time. And I'm actually going to save this effect to my shop palette, and you'll notice it's down here at the bottom now. So I'll click outside, and I'm just going to select my supplies text, and apply the fill to it. And there we go. So that looks pretty good as it is. So now I'm going to import some clip art. So go to File and Import. Select No. And I'm searching for a file that I already saved previously called Pen Pencil. So I'll select that and import it. I'll just position it on my screen here, and that's perhaps a little bit too big. So I'll just shrink that up a little bit, and perhaps a little bit more. Just kind of position that on my text, and I'll hit F7 to zoom in. And I'm going to use my keyboard shortcut Control-B to move it to the background. So I'm going to deselect everything. I'll hit F7 to zoom in. I'm just going to scroll in a bit further. I'm going to select my shadow, and I'm going to apply it the 40% tint that we created from the spot foil black. So I can just left-click on the color and drag it over and drop it. And lastly, I'm going to want to apply an overprint to it. So I'll just click on overprint, and you'll see that the overprint has been applied to the shadow, and the shadow is now cast on top of the pen and the pencil, and it creates a nice effect. So I'll just deselect everything and hit F7 to zoom back out, and that's the end of this tutorial.